democracy is political party. And when an individual is standing on a very weak political party, there are very high tendencies that the person will not perform well in office.
Every political party, there is a good and a bad candidate. Now, should you vote all the bad candidates alongside the good candidates in the political party because of the manifesto of the political party?
Friends, you are welcome to the first ever 18th century debate of the Moghrila community. I say Moghrila community, it sounds like an English word, of course it's not. But I'll not dwell so much on that. I'll rather discuss very little, within 1 minute, the issues behind 18th century. The first time I mentioned to someone that we are going to be having an 18th century debate, or we are beginning one, the person asked me, why 18th century? Are you taking us back more than 2, 3, 4 centuries ago? We are supposed to be in the 21st century. But there is something significant about the 18th century. The 18th century has been considered an Enlightenment century. In the spheres of politics and the economy and social affairs, we see great changes in human history during this particular century. Politically, because of the Enlightenment that is being accredited to this century, we had several political revolutions. For example, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, and others. Economically, because of the same Enlightenment, we had the Industrial Revolution, where machines took over human activities and the corporate world began to produce so much that the world could feed on. We also see the effects in the abolition of slave trade in the same century. These events occurred because of the Enlightenment that has been accredited to that century. The Moghrila community have chosen this 18th century to be a means by which we can enlighten our society. And that gives us the concept that this avenue is an avenue of enlightenment. Somebody told me, but the 18th century has nothing to do with Africa. But those who understand history very well understood that nationalist movements across African societies were influenced by the nationalist movements of different countries in the 18th century. So, whether we like it or not, the 18th century has something to do with us. So we at Moghrila community, we have decided to choose the 18th century to be our hallmark of enlightenment. And that is why we are here today. Finally, while we were choosing the first person to anchor this event, the team considered 3 issues to be the most relevant things to use in deciding who is to anchor the event. The first one was the person must be highly vast in knowledge. Secondly, the person must be critical and objective and must be willing to deal with issues without sentiment. And then thirdly, the person must be able to connect between audience and the stage so that our debate can always be effective and transforming. We had several people on this discussion, but one person stood out. When you are writing down, there is what we call most appropriate. There are other answers, but some are more appropriate than others. And that is why the team considered it fit that Mr. Tobias Choji is the most appropriate person.
Actually, the 18th century started from the 1st of January 1701 to the 31st of December 1800. Within this period, so many things were discovered. Even the piano we use, the steam engine, all were discovered in the 18th century. And prior to that, different parts of the world operate the monarchy kind of system, where anything people say or the leaders say, it will be accepted. Now, it is in the 18th century that people started opposing some of the things. And if you have read about the leaders of those centuries, they are so powerful that if you oppose some of them, the penalty is death. So it is in the 18th century that people dare death. That is, they know the consequences, but they went for it. So for us to start this, I will invite the vibrant personalities that will take the center stage to tell us certain things that will revolutionize our thinking about the politics in Nigeria. If it goes good, me and you will enjoy it. If it doesn't go good, me and you will be battling with it. May I invite to the table, before I introduce them properly to their seats, may I invite the National Vice President of the Bureau Youth Mothers Association, Comrade Damba. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much. You can take your seats. May I invite another very vibrant youth. He is currently the Public Relations Officer of the Plateau State Youth Council, Comrade Komen Musa. Please, a round of applause for him. This program will be very, very brief, but very monumental in our lives. Microphones are there. You can just tell us just one thing about you within 30 seconds and we move. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for them. A round of applause for them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think you've done justice if you introduced me so very well. And I don't think there's another thing I say about myself. My father's name is Johanna. I think that's the only thing that's missing. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a real privilege to be here. And of course, I will always very important opportunity in higher esteem. What I would add is that in the course of my life, I have dedicated so much so that I have been able to, speak to a lot of audience, one of which was when I spoke at the course 24 of the national, that's the NIPS Guru, when I was invited to be a public speaker about, on topics strengthening local government administration. And then one of the key things I did discuss there was that as far as I am concerned, there's nothing to talk about when it comes to local government association administration. And so I have been privileged to speak to a lot of audience, and of course I have always been hoping and wishing that we come here and also speak to the audience in the hope that we will cross-fertilize and cross-coordinate ideas in the hope that it will shape our decisions, especially now that the 2023 general elections is fast approaching. Thank you very much.
Voters should consider the political party of a candidate before voting him or her in a Nigerian election. That is our topic. Affirming that is Comrade Dan Johanna, whom I will now call on for his background information before we go into the debate. He's going to give us the background information on this topic.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the organizers of this program for finding it worthy to debate on this very important topic. Karl Marx has said that all human beings are political animals. So, hence talking about political parties today, I feel is very, very important to us. The only difference between democracy and any form of government is the presence of political parties. A political party is an association of like minds, who have with the purpose of getting political control and having control over all administrative machineries of the state. So without political parties, or without a political party, it is impossible for anyone to be elected into any position or hold any position in the country. So the presence of political party or having a political party is very, very important in our democratic setting, especially we in Nigeria that we're practicing this type of democracy that we're borrowing or we borrow from the United States of America. So thank you very much.
For us to conceptualize some very key, key topics or keywords that are contained in the topic that we are going to be discussing. And it is important for us to know who a voter is, because we are talking about the topic voters should consider the political parties of candidates. Now, who is a voter? In a nutshell, a voter is someone who is qualified to exercise his franchise using what we call the voter's card. Now, who is a candidate? A candidate is someone who represents a political party in an election. That is who a candidate is. Now, candidates should consider the political party of candidates before voting them. Now, I am against that, and then it is important for us to understand that in Nigeria of today, we are practicing democracy just like it has been formed. And then in our democracy, unfortunately, we do not have what we call independent candidacy. And that means that before you vie for an election, you must vie for an election to a particular platform. And that platform is called a political party. And so, as time goes on, we shall be taking you into the deep of what we will be discussing. But for now, I feel it is important for us to conceptualize very keywords like voters and of course candidates, which are very key and important. Thank you very much.
The moderator, the organizers of this occasion, my co-debater, the audience, I bring you warm greetings. Good afternoon. Voters should consider the political party of a candidate before voting him or her in Nigeria's election. I am here to propose this motion because I believe we should consider, or voters should consider, the political party of the candidate before voting. I am a believer of building strong institutions, not strong individuals. Because what has consistently eroded our system or Nigeria is our inability to build strong institutions. We build strong individuals. And I dare to say, you cannot build a strong structure on a weak foundation. That structure will never stand. So the foundation of democracy is political party. And when an individual is standing on a very weak political party, there are very high tendencies that the person will not perform well in office. So I call on you, when thinking or planning to vote in the next election in 2023, you should consider the political party of the individual. We've seen we've heard the definition of what a political party is. Every political party have their manifesto, they have their policies, they have their agenda. So I dare you, I indulge you to go through the manifesto of all these political parties so that you will know what they stand for, what they believe in, before you vote the candidate they are presenting. All of us are not unaware of what happened in 2014. People were so tired and were so desperate for change in the political landscape. We were ready to go for anything that comes. People even said, even whatever is presented, if it is from any other political party, will go for it. But at the end of the day, these people, we knew the political party there was not blended. It was just a collection of people who were agreed, who all they wanted was power. They promised us heaven and earth. But at the end of the day, after the one-day election, because the candidates were not in tune with the manifesto of the political party, at the end of the day, they started fighting among themselves. And who suffered the brunt is all of us, we who are the speaking, it is the same thing that the candidate will be speaking. When the candidate is having a different manifesto other than what the political party is having that is presenting it, at the end of the day, when it comes to governance, it will be impossible for us to have dividends of democracy. And again, when we talk about the integrity of the individual, no integrity of one single individual has the capacity to change the whole country. But when we have the integrity of our institutions, it has the potential of changing and redirecting our minds towards achieving greater goals even in the country. And all of us, me and you, will benefit from it. But when we keep presenting candidates, let's follow candidates, the candidate, when he's surrounded, when the platform is standing on, if the manifesto he has is different from what the manifesto of his political parties are, at the end of the day, they will come, they will be having conflict. And once there's conflict, then there's high tendency that will not be having a dividends of democracy. So I would like us to consider political parties that we have trust in them, they have proof of oversight that they have the capacity to deliver us from what we are doing. Because when you have a political party that they are not packaged very well, because within the political parties when you will have all the appointees of the people who will work with the principal, maybe the president or the governor, if they are not in tune and they are not needed in their, in their policies, in their agenda, at the end of the day, there won't be any result that will come out of it. And again, let me tell us, a political party has the capacity to call to order whoever is elected. So if the person that is elected is derailing from the agenda of their political party, the political party has the capacity to call it to order. But if we have political parties that all they want is to have power and to have control over the resources of the state without any clear agenda, the end result will be that there will be no output. Or even there will be output, the output will not be favorable to us. So I call on all of us, even as we plan to go into the next election, we should consider the political parties of candidates. And again, since we are copying our democracy from the United States of America, I always make that reference. Whenever you're copying something, copy it very well. Because if you don't copy it very well, you will not get the desired result. It is impossible in the US. Already, we have the Democrats and the Republicans. These are the two major political parties in the United States of America. They are the major political parties. So anybody that is standing on the platform of the Democrat or the Republican, you already know the agenda that these two political parties have. The only difference will be the strategy in implementing those manifesto or the agenda. But here, we have someone who will lose an election in the morning in one political party. He will run to another political party in the evening. And when he's elected in that other political party, number one, he doesn't even know the constitution of that political party he's running to. Number two, he doesn't even know the manifesto. All he wants to do is to win an election. So it depends us of having people with principles to go in governance. Because anybody that will fail an election during primary can run to another political party. Number one, if you go there, you don't even know the manifesto of the political party that you are going to. The next thing will be conflict. Because you are in a new family that you don't know their ideology, you don't know their culture, you don't know anything about them. All you want is power. And when power is given to you, at the end of the day, you'll be running helter-skelter without knowing any direction that you'll be going to. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Political parties or candidates before voting him or her in a general election. And before I continue, I would want to ask, how many of us are card-carrying members of any political party? If you are a card-carrying member of a political party, can I see your hands? Card-carrying member, you have membership card of a particular political party. We have about 5 people, roughly 5 people, Now, this answers the question why political parties should not be considered in Nigeria's election, but candidates. Now, for me as an individual, if as a progressive mind that I am, I will be talking about political party instead of candidates, then I do not want Nigeria to progress. It is a fact that in every political party, there is a good and a bad candidate. Now, should you vote all the bad candidates alongside the good candidates in a political party because of the manifesto of the political party? No. It is a fact that in Nigeria today, why we are suffering, it is because we consider political party instead of individuals.
Yes.
Let me say that in Nigeria today, there is no single political party with a bad manifesto. You can quote me anywhere. There is no single political party with a bad manifesto. Because no party that will want to come to power will have a bad manifesto. The individuals in the party are the ones that are bad, not the manifesto of the party. And so I am going to be summarizing my points in just no clapping, no interruption. I am going to be summarizing my points in just 3. First, what I will back off my point with 1 is competence, capacity, and performance. Competence, capacity, and performance. Now, for me as an individual and as a progressive mind that I am, in the Nigeria of today, in the 21st century that we are, I will opt for a candidate who is competent, a candidate who has the capacity, and then a candidate who can perform, than opting for the political party of the candidate. Because if a candidate is a bad candidate, the political party cannot influence him to be a good person. And so, if you are considering a political party instead of the candidate, then you are saying that party is more important than what the person that you are going to elect is going to do for you. Now, if you have a candidate vying for governor who is competent in Labour Party, and then you have a candidate who is vying for House of Representatives in Labour Party who is not good, who is not competent, and then you have a candidate vying for House of Assembly in PDP who is very competent. Will you go and vote all for Labour Party because of the party, or you will go and choose the best in APC, the best in PDP, and then the best in Labour Party and vote for them? Which one will you opt for? Competence, performance, and capacity. Secondly, the ideology of the candidate you are voting. The ideology of the candidate you are voting. Yes, every party has a manifesto, but every candidate has an ideology. Now, a candidate can influence the decision of the party and then using his own ideology. And so, when a candidate does not have the needed ideology, he or she will not have the right ideology simply because he is an APC, PDP, Labour Party, or any other political party. And so, in every political party, there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. In APC today, we all agree that to a large extent, APC as a party has failed. But there are candidates, there are leaders in APC who have done exceedingly well. We have Governor Zulum of Borno State. I mean, when you mention Zulum, you are mentioning competence, capacity, and performance. And so, it is a fact that in APC, there are candidates who are good. It is a fact that in PDP, there are candidates who are good. It is a fact that in Labour Party, there are candidates who are not good. to say that because APC has failed, then we should vote all APC candidates out. There is someone in APC who has something to offer. So ladies and gentlemen, it is important for you, as someone who is educated, to know that you need to ask this person what he has to offer before voting him. You should not ask a political party what the party has to offer before voting the party. You are not voting party, you are voting candidates, because you are going to hold candidates accountable, not political parties. So in 2023, I expect to see that if the person vying for president, if the most competent person vying for president is the Labour Party, vote for him. If the most competent person vying for governor is in APC, vote for him. If the most competent person vying for House of Assembly is in Labour Party, vote for him. Because what you are after is what? Competence and performance. You cannot pour a storm into an office because the party of the person is good. No. Your future is important and you have to protect it. In protecting that future, it means then that you need to do what is right. You need to do what is right. And doing what is right means that you have to vote wisely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please allow me to confidence. We are not satisfied. We want you to bring more points and then we will still interject.
Very much. I would like my brother who is opposing this motion to understand that you cannot love X and hate the birds who are laying the eggs. And let me tell you, elections is not easy question. That you will just go just because you're handsome, you're beautiful, you just go into election. You have to represent a political party. And that political party is what is giving you the platform. There's this misconception that we always have. We call political parties as mere platforms. When we demean political parties like that, this is what has brought us to the level that we are in now in Nigeria.
So let me interrupt. What about if I have the idea and the political party doesn't want to give me this place? What do I do?
You stay there and share. You must not occupy a political office before you are useful.
In Africa,
you can offer your advisor.
Thank you. In Africa, we have seen that getting into elected positions, once you are not the head, sometimes you make it, the head refuses to take the interview, and you will not be had, and you want to be had, and the political party will not give you the basis. What do you do?
That means your opinion is a minority. Because if your opinion is good, you have to, you cannot impose your opinion on people. You lobby the party men. And when we have a strong political party, and they see what you're offering is good, they will enforce it, or they will impose it on the person who is leading, or who is heading the political office.
Now, don't you think it's better if you want, if you are the driver, you actually steer the ship, or the car, or the train, or the plane in the direction you want, knowing fully well that your points may not be taken? Don't you think you're supposed to go and fight and form a party? Emmanuel Macron of France did the same thing in forming his own party, and after 1 year of forming the party, he won election. Do you think he won because of his party, even though the manifesto of the party, La Marche, simply means, that's the French word, means moving forward? Do you think he won because of political party or because of him as an individual?
Okay, you have asked me like 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
The first question is that you cannot have 2 drivers, no matter how good you are. There will be a day that somebody will drive you. No matter how good you're good at driving, someone will drive you one day. So we can never have 2 drivers at the same time. In as much as you know how to drive, you have to allow somebody to drive you sometimes. And number 2, when you are not satisfied, you can adopt this Emmanuel Macron method of influencing people into believing if the political party you're in does not believe in your dreams and aspirations and your manifesto, you can do the same thing that Macron do, and if you can convince the majority of the people, you can be voted, and that political party will become the majority.
Alright, before I move to your opponent, are you a member of a political party?
I'm a member of the PDP.
Alright, you can take your seat.
I am pretty sure that my fellow cultivator is speaking because he is speaking at his best. But if you meet him outside, he will tell you that you should not consider. I know so very well that while sitting down here as a PDP member, he is not going to vote at you. He will vote at you. It makes sense that he is not going to consider PDP. He is going to vote for him because he believes Peter Obi is competent.
Are you campaigning for Peter Obi?
I am not. We are talking about candidates. How can Peter Obi is competent? Now, unfortunately for us, like I said in my introductory part, our democracy in Nigeria does not allow for independent candidacy. If our constitution allows for independent candidacy, then we wouldn't have competent and capable candidates vying on the mere platforms. We would have them as independent candidates. And so, because we have been tied down to vie for offices under a particular platform, it makes it a must for every candidate to be a member of a particular platform.
Thank you.
So for that reason, it means that for you to be able to achieve what you have in mind for the people, you must belong to a political party.
Alright, one of you mentioned that we copy from America. And Americans actually vote on the ideologies of their parties. Now I'm looking for example. The major parties in America, we have the Republicans and the Democrats. Some of them vote on the ideologies of their faith, religions, where one party supports, for example, pro-life, that is those that say there should be no abortion. They believe that since this party mentioned that there should be no abortion, for example, whoever candidate comes, they are going to vote because of the ideology of the party. Now, in Nigeria, do you think if someone voted under a particular party, brings out a different ideology from the party, he is going to rule successfully without it from his party? That's the question.
Thank you very much. Let me say that if the candidate, aside from the manifesto of the party, every candidate has a manifesto. Every candidate vying for a particular office has a manifesto. Now, if once you get into office, it is what you promise the people that you will do. It is not what the party is saying that you will do. Now, if I promise the people of Zawan that if they vote me, I am going to break this road, if I get into office, what I will do is to ensure I get the office. And so, like I said, in America, they are practicing two-party system, and then in Nigeria, we have over 18 political parties. So it means then that if you are in a particular platform, one of course, to an extent, you owe the party to a large extent loyalty, but then your own ideology supersedes that of the party.
Alright, so let me ask a question here. I have the Code of Conduct for Political Parties, the document that political parties use in election. That is all political parties, regardless of which political parties. There are items listed here. The items are 23 in number. But there is one particular item under the conduct of, that is Code of Conduct for Political Parties. We are talking of a candidate, and now conduct number 4 says, no political party shall use state apparatus, including state-owned print and electronic media, to the advantage or disadvantage of any other political party or candidate at an election. That is to say, all ruling political parties shall allow other parties equal and fair access to the use of state-owned print and electrical media. In summary, they are saying no political party should be favored using government resources. If a candidate is very good, and when we say it's good, it means he is good in so many ramifications, he is there for equity and justice. If you discover that a candidate is good, quite alright, but our own resources are being used to sponsor him, will you support or will you tell this audience to support that candidate? That's the question.
Well, thank you very much. In an ideal sense, in as much as the code of conduct is right, I will say that if a government uses its machinery, now the government you're talking about is representing a political party. And remember, the governor of the state is the leader of the party he is representing. And then you should expect that the governor, who is the leader of the party in the state, just like any human being, has an interest. Now, in projecting that interest, he must protect his own interest. And so, if he uses government machinery to set the pace for someone to come on board, the question is it wrong or right? Yes, it is right. Yes, it is wrong. But the most important question is the person he is using the government resources to bring on board competent or not? If he is competent, vote him. If he is not competent, don't vote him. Thank you.
We thank you, please, another round of applause. This point, do you think Nigerians really even know the ideologies of those political parties? That you convince us that we should vote based on those ideologies?
Okay, I don't think there's anything to explain to anyone better than what we experienced. Because if we have to ask ourselves, there was a political party that was in power. You ask yourself, were you better off then than now? In terms of security, in terms of economy, in terms of welfare, and any other thing that concerns us. So, when we are going into the next election, we are supposed to be asking ourselves, even if you cannot read our mind, what you are experiencing now and what you used to experience, you will know which of the manifesto works for you better.
Thank you. You are telling us to vote for candidates and not for political parties. We have had primaries for the major political parties on the plateau. For both the two major political parties, PDP and APC, and there are people that it is for the first time that people are getting their names. People never knew them anyway. How do you want us to even know a good candidate from a bad candidate? Because in the political era we have today, there are people that were voted based on some few works they did that people thought they are good, and they say vote for this candidate. But today people are crying with that candidate. How do we know, just as we are trying to know, how many people even know of political party ideology? These are even ideologies that are written in books. These ideologies by a single individual that are not even written anywhere. How do you convince us to know?
To your question, sir. Like I did say, if you're vying for a particular position, you have your personal manifesto. And then before you think of vying for an office, you have a past. You have antecedents. What are your antecedents? Where have you served? What did you do? Did you perform? Did you not perform? We can use that to measure it. If in the offices you held before contesting an election, if you failed to perform, and then in your manifesto to want to vie for an office and then you are telling us what you will do and you didn't do in the past when you were given the opportunity, of course we will not agree. But if it is in tandem with what you have done in the past, then of course we go for it. So, antecedents.
All right. So, from one party to the other, and from 1999 to date, things have not improved. If the problem was the candidates, because you are telling us to vote for candidates, if you are telling us that the problem is the candidate, the candidates have been moving from one party to the other, why is it that things are still not moving fine, despite the fact that the candidate moves from one party to another? Why are things not moving fine? You have asserted that actually things are not moving fine. And I like the way you put it, that it's both PDP and APC, even though I don't want any of you to call the name of any political party. Yeah. So, why do you think? Because if it is individual have even moved. Because, okay, since it is individual issue, they have moved. The country will have been better since it's an individual thing. The governor sat under APC in the first instance and now moved to PDP. In fact, the only governor in the country to win election in both parties, even back to back. Right? Now, is Edo State better during his first tenure since it is individual now? But he was on two parties. So that is what I'm saying.
I mean, the example you just given has answered your question. For the fact that he was in PDP, APC, and he moved to PDP and still won an election, it means then that people voted him because he is Obaseki, not because he was in APC or in PDP. Because if it were because of the party, he wouldn't have been voted because he was not.
So, just state, you discover that particular parties dominate. Are you sure that people are actually using political ideologies, that is the ideologies of their parties in the running of this country, that you are encouraging us to follow political parties? Are you sure?
Let's build institutions, not individuals. The truth is, tendencies are very, very high when you build individuals. They become dictators. We voted Obaseki in PDP, he was not performing. You voted him in PDP, he is not performing because you voted Obaseki. But when you see, you look at, you package yourself in your political party, you bring out the best from among you, and you ensure that he's doing the right thing while in office, even as a political party. You have the right to sanction him as a party man, and he will stay there and take correction. But the problem is that people have been moving, so people should stop moving so that we'll have our country moving.
All right. Thank you.
My name is Jan Samuel. My question to you is, now we're talking about the value attached to political parties. Now, I have not seen an instance where a political party was taken to court for not performing. It is always the individual that is taken to court. So now, are we advocating that laws should be made that political parties should be held accountable for the candidates they present to us? Yeah. That's my question. Secondly, to the co-debater there. Now, if we're talking about candidates and then looking at their antecedents, does it mean that someone who has not served in any position or probably doesn't have any antecedent politically cannot vie or contest for political positions? So these are my questions. Thank you.
All right. I'm proposing. Now, talking about party ideology, political parties undergo primaries, and the winner becomes the flag bearer of the party. But recently, we somehow delegates were board for the flag bearers to emerge. My question is vote buying one among the ideologies of the political party? And secondly, to the person opposing, will the ideologies of a candidate and all of the party work in a Nigerian setting. How about godfatherism? And my reference goes to the incident of Tinubu and Ambodi. Thank you.
For swing political party, for failure of candidates they failed in, if they fail to perform, should be sued them. Yes, I feel we need to get our constitution right, especially the party constitutions. Personally, I'm against the idea that once a governor or a president emerges in a political party automatically becomes the leader of the party. I'm against that. He should bother himself administration. Then political parties, the party chairman of a political party in the state or the country should remain the leader of the political party. That is the way to solve that problem that you are talking about. So for them to remain leaders of their political party, it's giving them, they cannot separate or divorce themselves, because once you win election, you become, you are for all. You are not for your political party anymore. So I think that will solve that problem that you just asked.
Thank you.
Then for my brother who asks, is vote buying part of ideologies of political party? Vote buying is corruption. And corruption, if you check the manifesto of all political parties, all of them will tell you that they will come and fight corruption. So it is going back to this my co-debaters, these individuals that we are talking about. They are the people exhibiting the character that will come and be in office, the Bibles. So we should resist them, not encourage them, not rewarding them by voting them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. It is a fact that these people buy under the platform, a party. Now, what did the party do to stop vote buying? What has the party done to stop vote buying? If the party is mute about vote buying, then it means the party has endorsed it. And that means that the candidates you are saying that they should be loyal to the party have been loyal to the party by buying the votes according to the manifesto of the party you are projecting, which is not bad, if you ask me. So deal with your question and solve it. Thank you very much. Let me answer you very quickly. For every individual who wants to serve in any given opportunity, the person must have a plan. And that plan is what we call a manifesto. Now, what happens to someone who does not have an antecedent? Now, someone who does not have an antecedent means that the person has not been opportune to serve in one political or in one office or the other in the past. It means then that the person will not have an antecedent that will be used against him when he wants to vie for an office. So what happens to that person? Now, what you will use to judge that person is simply the person's manifesto. Because if he wants to vie for an office, you have a manifesto. Now, for someone who has served in the past, you now have two things to judge the person. You have the manifesto, and then you have the person's antecedents. So for someone without antecedents, you use the manifesto to judge him. Now when you use the manifesto to judge the person, and he gets there, and he does not perform, he will want to vie for an office tomorrow. You now have an antecedent to judge him with.
Thank you. And to answer the question about vote buying,
I have a question that he asked about vote fatalism, right?
Yes.
When is the place of vote fatalism? Yeah. It is the fact that every individual who is into politics has a mentor. Now, if you are a mentee and you are good, if your mentor is also good, people will like you as a mentee of the mentor. Now, in Ambode's case, Ambode is a mentee of Tinubu, of course. And Tinubu is an individual. Lagos is a state. Tinubu has one word, right? Lagos people decide who will be their role. Now in this case, we are talking about candidates. If Ambode is viable, if Ambode is competent, no matter what Tinubu will do, Ambode wouldn't have lose election. Because the people are the ones who decided. Tinubu did not decide. Tinubu casted just one vote.
Oh, thank you.
Ambode lose the election. So if Lagos people were with Ambode, Ambode would have failed the election.
Gift, reward, gratification, or any other monetary or material consideration or allurement to voters and electoral officials are all under corrupt practices. So all those ones, they are written, they are documented. It is here under the Code of Conduct for Political Parties. So that is just the truth.
I have this question I want to ask us here. Please, is a party an institution of the state? If yes, I want to ask this question. I want to go back to January 6. All of us, we know that America is the greatest democracy that we have in the world. Now, what happened in January 6, if you are aware of it, you know that even the greatest democracy almost bent that same day. Now, I want to ask you too, was it the fault of the institution that is not strong, or the fault of the individual? For you, you are talking about the individual now. Please, can you tell me the role of the individual in January 6? I know you know January 6, wow. And then you can also tell me the role of the institution, that's the party. Now, what they did in January 6.
If there's an institution that has been saddled with the responsibility to conduct an election, and the outcome of the election says that party or candidate A fails, and he's insisting that he won the election, then if you lose an election, the next thing to do is to go to court. If you feel you are not treated fairly, you should go to court, not to insist that you want to impose yourself on the people. So I feel he's still trying to glorify that individual. I'm trying to glorify himself. Thank you.
60 seconds.
I thought you would simply tell us about the role that political party played when that thing happened, but you just forget it. Let me say very quickly that individual you're talking about fight under a platform, and then it means then that he was acting based on, or he was doing what he was doing based on the manifesto of that party that he was representing. So to me, it goes back to the party. The party did not do its job properly, and then of course the party also wanted to remain in power, not only the individual, because the party was not against him. Thank you.
All right. My name is Wilfred Patrick. My question goes to the person opposing this statement. Where do you keep the advice of Barack Obama when he came in 2016 to Ghana and he asked Ghanaians and advised Africans that Africa should focus on building strong systems, not strong individuals? Where do you keep this advice? Where do you keep the advice? Where do you keep the example we are playing that the most advanced countries on earth have the most advanced political parties on earth? Thank you.
I am in tandem with Barack Obama that we should build very strong parties. Now, unfortunately in Nigeria, we have very strong parties, but we have very weak individuals. I mean, a party cannot succeed without an individual. Now, like I have said earlier, every party, every political party has an amazing manifesto. For me, I have been privileged to go through the manifesto of both the APC and the PDP, and I can tell you that they have very amazing manifesto. But like I said, the individual who is in that party, does he really mean what he writes in the constitution or in the manifesto, or he just does that because he wants to get power? It means then that we need to change the narrative. If, like he has earlier defined the meaning of a political party, if we are coming together as like minds to create a political party, what is the manifesto of the party? And do we really mean what we are writing? Or we are just writing it because we want to use it to get the power? That is the problem we have. That is the problem we have. So what we need to begin to do is to sanction members of a party, of any political party who go against the manifesto of the party. If we begin to do that, it means then that we will be strengthening the political party we do. But in as much as we do not do that, we only use the manifestos we have to get to power and become something else, we will never get there.
Thank you.
My name is Yang Lei. I'm the president of Million Youth Organization. My first question goes to the first speaker who is proposing the proposition. A political party is said to be people of like minds. What yardstick can the party use to measure the minds to know that they're like-minded? To hold the ideology of the party to win elections. Another question goes to the other speaker. You're encouraging people, the electorate, to vote based on competence and not party. How, if the electorate votes based on competence and not candidates, what advice do you have to align the fears of the electorate, just as it happened in the Second Republic with Governor Banana Musa in Kaduna State? Because the executive and the legislature, what advice do you have to encourage the electorate to vote based on competency? And I also need more clarification about the word competency. Is a relative word. I need more explanation. Thank you very much.
Competence is relative. But if I mention the word competence, you know what I'm talking about. It means that the person in question can deliver any assignment given to him. That is what competence means. The person in question can deliver any assignment given to him without any problem. It means that the person has the ability, he has the technical know-how to justify the confidence that you will repose in him. That is what that means. Competence is relative. To you, this person may be competent. To the other person, the person may not be competent. That is where number of people will count. The majority will decide who is more competent than who.
That political parties are association of like minds. If you look at the other aspect of the definition, it says association of like minds who organize themselves for the purpose of what? Controlling power and state administrative machineries. So if you look at the process of organization, when you're organizing yourself, it has a way of punching the people who are not having the same like minds at the process of the organization. So things naturally will take shape. If you are coming with a different motive at the process of organizing a political party, I think naturally it will punch you out. The only people that will remain in a political party are people of like minds. Because informing a political party is not a tea party. It's not something that just wake up and form a political party. You must undergo series of sacrifices. So in the process, people who cannot sacrifice, people who cannot, endure the hurdles in forming a political party, naturally they will go. But people who persist to the end, they will have cook themselves into their ideologies.
Thank you.
For strengthening of institutions in Nigeria. Because the first or the cause of the failed state is weak institutions. And we continue to promote the strength or strengthening of strong individuals. This is unacceptable. If we continue, it's just like as I said in my opening remarks, you cannot build a strong building on a weak foundation and expect the building to stand. So when we have individuals that are so powerful, they dictate everything. They dictate how we eat. They dictate how we sleep. They dictate everything that concerns us. We'll continue to have it. Nigeria is failing. Nigeria is failing because we have too many strong individuals standing on a weak foundation. So let us as youths, whether we find ourselves in a position of leadership or even as we are advocating or enlightening the people living among us, let us advocate that if we have a system that is working for our education, if we have a system that is strong to take care of our educational system, that I can go and study a 4-year course or a 5-year course or a 6-year course in the university and I'll finish within the stipulated time, I'm satisfied. If we have a system that is working for healthcare, that anytime I am feeling stomach pain or headache, I will get medicine as I went to. That is what we should be advocating for. Today we have schools closed, hospitals closed. So what do we have a country? It is just so unfortunate. The power within 6 months, we have our power grid has within less than 6 months. The whatever crash more than 6 times. So there's no power, no healthcare, no education.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On a final note, I deeply want to appreciate my fellow coordinator for affirming in his last statement that our institutions are very weak. It means he has affirmed that our political parties are very weak.
Because we have strong individuals.
Now, he has equally accepted that we have strong individuals and then we have weak institutions. So he has actually affirmed that there are credible candidates, but we have very bad political parties. That goes to show that as we go out to make our choices, I know that all of us seated here will choose a Governor Wike of Rivers State who is in PDP over a Governor Lalong of Plateau State who is in APC. I know all of us seated here will choose a Governor Zulu of Borno State to a Governor Otom of Benue State. Reason being that these are individuals who have performed, talking about Wike and Zulu. It means then that in every political party, there are the good, the bad, and the ugly. It means then that it is not for you as the voters to discern between who is good, who is bad, and who is ugly. And will you want that person who is ugly and bad to get voted because he belongs to PDP? Will you want that person who is good to get voted because he's in APC? I am sure we will want the person to be voted in because he has something to offer, not because the political party has something to offer. As we make our choices in 2023, 2023 is going to be a defining moment in our democracy in Nigeria. It shouldn't be about Labour Party. It shouldn't be about APC. It shouldn't be about the PDP. Who can salvage Nigeria?
Thank you.
Who can salvage Plateau? Who can salvage the South Justice? Who can salvage the South constituency? Who can do the best job for us? Vote competence, do not vote political party, because all political parties are not good. And all candidates are not good. There are good candidates, there are bad candidates. Thank you very much.
Please, we have come to the end of this intellectual exercise where you don't have, where you have a balance. When this one speaks, he's trying to pull you to his side, and when the other one comes up, that is intellectual engagement. The battle now is no longer physical, it's intellectual. So we've had the immediate past national vice president of the Biron Youth Molders Association, Comrade Damba Johanna, and we are also here. We have also had a good time with the current PRO of the Plateau Youth Council, Comrade Umwen Wacha.